Hey, this is Anthony Horton. This is my green TJ. Today I'm going to be installing a part sponsored by Car Sponsors and Morris 4x4 Center. I'm going to be doing the Rough Country front bumper. It's a Stubby Winch bumper. It's going to come with a winch plate. Sometimes it may ship separately, so don't freak out. Either way, you get the bumper in the box. You get a bag of hardware. It's going to be really simple because all of your bolt holes should be the same. Like, they should mount up to your stock bolt holes. So let's go ahead and get started on this. I have the Fishbone off-road steering box skid plate. So that's going to have to come off with the stock bumper. We're going to start by taking the bolts out of here. We're going to take the bolts out of the top of the bumper, and then we'll go from there. That should take everything off of the front of your Jeep. You're going to need a T55 Torx. Now you see this Jeep plate here? We're going to have to remove this in order to mount the winch plate behind the bumper. And it should be a 10 millimeter. This one here is 10 millimeter. May be different on your Jeep. I've noticed that a lot of people put different sizes of bolts on Jeeps. Let's go ahead and take this off and go from there. I took a bolt out of the steering box skid plate. You're going to want to replace that bolt. Don't forget to do that. It's this long one right here. It just goes right into the side here. And that should be a 15 or a 16 millimeter. Alright, so when you get your winch guard in the winch plate in the mail, you're going to have some hardware with it, and you're going to be laying 2 of these big washers on your stock holes, and then you're going to have to use new bolts for your sway bar bushings. So you're going to take the old stock bolts out, and you're going to lay one of the small washers on there, and you're going to do the same on the other side. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky if you don't have a helper. You have to lay the winch plate up here, and be careful, make sure you don't move the washers. They got to be lined up just right. Then, you take the bumper, and you'll see inside here, there's some brackets, which, according to Rough Country, those aren't supposed to be welded on there, but mine came welded, which I actually appreciate. So, we're going to go ahead and slide this on here and get one of your big bolts, or you can start with the sway bar bushing bolt, which is probably easier. And you lay it directly on top. Make sure you don't move any of the washers or the plate. You want to make sure it lines up right. And get your bolts in. So you have one of the small ones and two of the big ones on each side. So we're going to get all the bolts lined up. Our big ones and the small ones, we're going to get them tightened down, but only finger tight at first, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got all my bolts in here, finger tight. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now what I had to use. So, the small bolts on your sway bar bracket here are going to be a 17 millimeter. And the big bolts are going to be a 19 millimeter. Make sure you get one of these, because it will, one of the ratcheting end wrenches, because it will save your life, let me tell you. So, you know, you might as well have yourself a socket that's 19, a 17, a couple extensions, and I had to use a 16 to get that bolt off on the side there to undo the bolt that goes through the steering box to remove that steering box skid plate. I used pair pliers for, you know, just random stuff. You need a flashlight. Now that we're here where we are, I'm going to go ahead and explain these bolts here and the bolts that are going to be on the top. So you're going to get 12 of these bolts that look just like this, and it's an Allen head. 8 are going to go in here in the front where you can actually mount either a stinger bar with these up here and these in the front, or you can mount the D-ring brackets. So you're going to have 4 of these for the top, and then you're going to have 8 for the front. And you've got plenty of washers to work with if you want to. I left them off. I didn't do anything super serious because I'm going to eventually add on the D-ring brackets. So you might just want to get them tight, you know, semi-tight so that they don't rattle around while you're driving. So now we're going to go ahead and tighten down all the bolts, and we're going to go ahead and put these on.
True lords of the Sith.
Alright, we're going to go ahead and put these in on the top now. Like I said, these had regular nuts, so slide through the hole here. And I believe they're 15s. We will double check here in a second. I was way off. So they are also 19s. Let's see what size this is here. It's going to be a 5/16 Allen, if I remember right. Yeah, it's 5/16. And now, your installation of the bumper is complete. Now, when we first started the video, I took off the steering box skid plate over here on the left driver's side, and all that's going to need is make sure it's nice and tight. Because the only thing that's holding that skid plate in there right now is that bolt. You can drill some holes into this cross member up here if you'd like, but I'm not going to because look how sturdy that is. I don't think it's going nowhere. But it's up to you. That was my installation of the Rough Country front stubby winch bumper. It's pretty easy, pretty quick process, not too bad. Now you can go ahead and lay your winch right down here in the middle. You've got 4 holes to hold the bolts in the brackets for the winch. As far as I know, this will hold just about any brand and any model of winch. There's plenty of room in there, and that steel is super thick, super durable. So once you got that, like I said, with these front bolts, you can add on a stinger bar, you can add on the D-ring brackets. I'm going to do the D-ring brackets. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Have a nice day.